So in this video, we're going to be covering 5 things I wish I had known about Helltides, huge changes. These are things that I wish I would have known a lot sooner because I was not doing them and I was definitely not maximizing what I can get out of Helltides. The very first one on this list is going to be contributing to the Maiden. So if you guys come into an area, usually you can zoom in, the Maiden is down over here. We're going to just run over there real quick. Okay, so we are finally here. This is where the Maiden's going to spawn. We can add to these pillars. We add a Baneful Heart. Those drop from the Hellborn, and you can put all 3 if you want into each of these and spawn on yourself. Now, what is going on in this, if you just hit one of these, when we spawn one, we get this notice down here. Let me go ahead and switch out so you guys can see it. So we get this message here: contributing to the accursed ritual grants increased rewards for the next blood maiden kill. And so you can hit all 3. I have not noticed a massive increase if you hit all 3 versus you hit 1, but it's good to get at least 1 in there. Now, where I was not doing this very well is when you finish the Maiden and you're just going to be trying to run a bunch of them in a row, instead of trying to clear all the gear first and then come back, go ahead and just hit one of these. And that allows the other players to also hit one. And I think it's just better so that at least 3 people can get more benefits. Now, don't wait. It's still more important, I think, for most of the people just get a ton of runs, and you don't know how many people actually have the Baleful Hearts to actually run it anyway. So leave them some time. Hit one of yours so you get your increased benefits, but then let other people also hit the additional ones. So the next thing comes to something that I have covered a lot because it's just so powerful, but I was not using it in early game, and I should have probably been using it the minute I found one. And that is going to be looking at the profane mine cages. So these are absolutely nuts for what they do in Helltides. They only affect Helltides, but what they're going to do is, as long as you're clearing well and you're not dying in Helltides, the Maiden isn't one-shotting you so you don't have to risk losing a lot of cinders, then it's worthwhile to always run the mine cage. And so I'll go ahead and show you this real quick. Let's switch over again so you guys can see where I'm pointing. Over here, increases Helltide monster level and the aberrant cinder drops. So this is what you see. It runs for an hour. It does run between Helltides, but only in Helltides. So if you leave the area, you won't see it there. But when you jump into your next Helltide, it'll start showing you where you are in your countdown. So once you run it, you get that full hour. I did notice that if you die, it does go away. But between the extra, the level gap with your with all the monsters, you get increased XP. And you're also getting those additional cinders, which allows you to just make the Helltides crazy valuable for you every single time you run through. It is just crazy powerful what they do. They're also bringing up the profane mine cages also brings up the threat meter rate. So if you notice, I was at 0 when we kind of started, and now I'm already at almost 2 bars. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and fill up my meter, and then I'm gonna show you guys the next thing. Okay, so we just hit the top of our threat meter and it's starting to come down slowly. At different markers as this comes down, this actually surprised me a few times because I didn't know that it was coming down. I thought it would just like drop off in a chunk after like a Hellborn spawned or something like that. But what it was doing is it's slowly decreasing, and at different points, it's going to release a big group of monsters. And so we're almost there again. I think it'll trigger any second here. I'll wander around, see if it triggers it fast. There it is. So that is the load of monsters that are coming off from the threat meter coming off. And now when we get to the final, when we're clear of our threat meter entirely, that's when we'll spawn an even crazier pack of a ton of elites, including a Hellborn. There's the Hellborn. It actually didn't spawn any elites. This is unusual. So it just loaded a Hellborn by itself. Usually there would be like 3 like crazy elites at the same time, and it gets pretty nuts. But that's it. So when the Hellborn comes, you get a couple things from the Hellborn. You're going to get these profane mine cages almost every time in endgame, and you're also getting the Baneful Hearts. So that's what allows you to summon the Maiden. Now, if you guys noticed through that gameplay, I was also loading Holy Bolts. If you guys don't know what that is, this potion here is absolutely essential for fast moving in Helltides, just clearing things, gets additional experience. But those bolts are clearing so fast. It's just essential, I think, for all endgame. If you want strong clears, you want to push Nightmare Dungeons heavy, you want to push the pit, you're going to want to use this. But Helltides makes it insane. I wasn't using it. I was like saving. I was like, oh, these are rare items. But you can make them yourself with obols. It costs about 350 obols to make one yourself, so you can stockpile again. So I have 1365 obols. I can go build another 3 or 4 if I wanted to. which leaves me each one lasts 15 minutes, but it is crazy essential to do so. So there is one other thing, and I will actually go find one, and then I'll jump back to you guys. Okay, so here we are. If you look on your mini map, you'll usually find them. This is the Ravenous Soul Spire. Oh, there's actually two right next to each other. Now, the thing to know about these is I used to like pop these early on, and then I would like basically run around and die, almost die pretty fast, because this one just starts draining you. So it's not actually worth your effort to spend a lot of time. It can spawn more monsters and it can be good for cinders, but the real major payoff is if you can last to the end. So if this is something where you're not able to get through the whole thing, you're not getting nearly as much benefit, and it probably just makes sense to stick close to the maiden and keep doing those runs. But later, when you can actually clear these, it's just, the reward is just absolutely nuts. This is actually looking far more insane than I remember. But that is just something. So there's just this big pop of monsters. The red circle will eventually go away, and then just a crazy amount of monsters will show up. Okay, so I have two bonus things for you guys. The first five, like, yeah, if you know those and you're doing them and at least know that they're available to you for making it even crazier in Helltides, then that's going to be awesome. Now, these next two are just crazy bonus. Gold is more important than ever. So it is really important when you're running through Helltides that you do look for these. And not just for the power-ups. The power-ups will help you clear, and it's really awesome. If you get artillery and you get holy bolts, that's just insanity on screen. It's totally worth it. But where I find the most bang for my buck right now is the greed ones. You are going to get a ton. That's probably the fastest way to get a big chunk of money, so you can keep doing your masterworking and spending all the things you need for endgame to push through the pit. There is also a good boost of experience, honor, everything that you need by just seeing how many chests you can possibly open during a Helltide. So the Helltides are not just for gear, they're not just for experience, they're for bossing materials, they're for opals now, so you can restock your holy bolts. They're just far more important than they've ever been, and they're giving you way more of the stuff for the bossing material too. I think they just are a key thing. If you're hitting a ton of these throughout the game, you're gonna have lots of materials for your end game where you're crushing bosses and then pushing the pit. Now, that isn't just in the end game for how important these are, even though it's a lot in the materials. Early, they are the best place for experience and for gearing, because all of the chests in World Tier 1 and 2 are mystery chests, and they only cost 100. So you can get a ton of chests to level up like crazy in an early game and blitz through a lot of it. Now, if you guys are like this and you're running a lot of Helltides like most of us are in Season 4, then do not miss this video where I go over 16 tips and tricks for leveling up crazy fast in Helltides. This is early game and end game.